writing. I told you about Seiji. One of the reasons I write is I want to contribute to making the world a better place, the community a better place than I found it. Is that a big dream? Yeah. I don't have grandiose ideas. I like to affect one person at a time with something that'll make a difference. And Seiji was an unusual kind of man. An American GI, Nisei, named David Sakamoto, who became Seiji's first art teacher and became a professor at Princeton University. Met Seiji when Seiji was in a vacant lot in Osaka in 1945, squatted down like this, drawing on a piece of cardboard with a charcoal stick. And this army sergeant bent down and said, "What are you doing?" Seiji looks up and says, "Drawing." Duh. The sergeant says, "That's really good." And Seiji's thinking, why does that American sergeant have a Japanese face? And then the sergeant begins speaking to him in Japanese, which he learned from his parents who grew up in Sendai. And Seiji's ability was always to see beyond what other people saw, to see the possibilities in things, in people. And when he dies at only 65, Professor Sakamoto, who comes to Japan, to Tokyo for the funeral and is now his father-in-law, at the funeral he looks at Seiji's photo there amongst the flowers and smiled. The first time I saw him squatting down with a piece of cardboard holding a piece of charcoal in his hand, I saw he was different. He saw possibilities, what could be, and he spent his life bringing it about. He gave to everyone, a bystander said, wiping away tears. He was involved with everything, a shop owner from Nakamise said. He was forever showing us what was possible. When someone needed help, he was there to lend a hand. He was inspiring, a former student, a well-known painter and illustrator put in. Without Sensei, I would never have become an artist because I lacked confidence in my ability. Sensei helped me see and develop it. He gave us this. A monk from Sensoji Temple held up a painting of Kannon, gazing down on a shattered city from which new life is emerging. He was always helping us, inspiring us. He gave me hope and vision, a middle-aged woman said, at a time in my life when I wanted to end it. And if he were here, he would claim credit for none of it. Standing at the podium, Professor Sakamoto cleared his throat. He would smile and say that he had only helped us to see with clarity the reality that is already here. I can't think of a person, including myself, whom he didn't enlighten. His mother and Seiji said Seiji has his father's knack for seeing beyond what is to what can be. And that's the core of the whole novel. December 2006, I woke when we were still had our home in Seattle. I woke from a dream about a large Hokkaido snow monkey. I don't mean just a bigger than average. I mean a big old boy. This guy sitting next to you, the top of his head would come to your shoulder. That's bigger than, way bigger than normal. And I woke up and I said to myself, where did you come from? I don't know any Hokkaido snow monkeys. I never met any. What's this all about? And so something I practiced is I asked him, what are you here for? That's my old professor's question. And he told me. And it resulted in a story called The Old Man and the Monkey, which was published first as an e-book a year ago, and the second as a paperback. It's called The Old Man and the Monkey. It begins like this. In a small park near one of the rivers that run through the city of Asashikawa, Hokkaido, there is a bronze statue of an old man and a monkey seated side by side on a wide, flat stone looking out over the river and the mountains. The monkey is bigger than ordinary snow monkeys. The top of his head reaches to the old man's shoulder. Looking at the bags under his eyes, one can see that the monkey, like the man, is elderly. Affixed to the base of the statue is a bronze plaque that reads, Genjiro and Yukitaro. These two old friends sit and warm themselves in silence as the years and seasons pass. No one believes the old man and the monkey were real, but I know that they were because the old man was my grandfather, Genjiro Yamada, and Yukitaro was his companion and friend for the last 5 years of his life. Now is the time for me to tell their story and reveal for the first time how an improbable friendship like that between a man and a monkey happened, how it was good, and how it ended. Everybody loves it. Where'd it come from? I don't care anymore. One day, 2 years ago, what was it last year? Maybe it was last year, I don't know. I think it was a year ago. I was out for a walk near our mansion in Shiriichi, and this big raven flew right over my head. Caw! I ducked. Man, what are you all about? You know, what are you trying to tell me? I go for a walk around the Okutsusamu River and come back home, and I come up to our home and I sit down at my computer and I write a short story about the raven and grandfather who lives in our building. Odd. And his name is Grandfather Ueda. Ueda is his first name. I ended up writing 21 stories about grandfather and a raven, and ended up in this book that was published earlier this year. Grandfather calls him Sir Raven, and they get into all these kind of ridiculous arguments that men get into with each other. You women, I'm sure, are not at all familiar with men doing that. No, right? Of course you are. We get involved in silly arguments. One of the arguments that grandfather and the raven get into is that as Raven departs one day, and he speaks Japanese, by the way. Raven says, nevermore. And grandfather says, what? And later he asks him, well, where did you learn that? It's an old Raven expression. What do you mean it's an old Raven expression? That's not an old Raven expression. That's from the American poet and novelist Edgar Allan Poe. And Sir Raven says, no, that's an old Raven expression. And they get into this back and forth. And grandmother, she just shakes her head, oh man. And another story in there, Raven and grandfather encounter this little boy who wants to be a runner, but he's awful at it. He doesn't have any discipline. He runs, and runs out all of breath and falls down, and he gets up after a while and runs. And grandfather talks to him and says, oh, I just really want to be a good runner, but I just don't know how to do it. The elementary school coach tells me I'm terrible, and I just will never be one. And grandfather said, well, I think my friend here and I can help you. And so Sir Raven recruits his cousin Flyer, who becomes young hero's coach. And this young man ends up winning the all high school championship in the 200-meter run. ha-ha for people who say that ravens can't teach a boy to be a runner, because that one did. I like stories like that. One more thing. Anyone here read anything by Murakami Haruki? Oh, he's good. Kafka by the shore, on the shore. Anyone read that? Kafka? Oh, you read it? I like this book. He challenges me, this guy does. You know, I can't wait till next September when his new 2-volume set comes out in English, because I think I know where I can get an early copy of it from the book depository in England, and I for sure have both of them. This, I've read this twice, and I'm going to go read it a third time because he challenges me. I want to leave you with this quote. Time weighs down on you like an old, ambiguous dream. You keep on moving, trying to slip through it. But even if you go to the ends of the earth, you won't be able to escape it. Still, you have to go there, to the edge of the world. There's something you can't do unless you get there. I'm 76. I like that. The day I die, if I'm 100, or whatever age I am, I expect to still have learned at least one new thing. To always be on the growing edge. Lifelong learning. Like I said, I'm not a physical